Michael, can you eat a whole package of Oreos in 15 minutes? No. That's a really important question. And I'm sorry to disappoint, but if I ate one sleeve of Oreos, I would probably vomit, most likely. I have a really hard time with, like, junk food. Um, I'm, like, really sensitive to it, so I would fail that challenge. Evening Toby, did I break the lamp? I did not break any lamp. Bummer, I know. Ethan probably could. So we could put him to the test at some point. Is that one of your skills, Shelby? Is that why you ask? How old were you when you lost your virginity? 21 years old. So this year, August. No, I don't like Oreos. Fair enough. Michael, I have a really serious question. Cool. Let's do it. I have a feeling I know the answer to this, but Naomi, what's up? If you finished college, what would your degree be? That's a tough question because I was in college for international relations, but it's a really bad and useless major. And if I were to somehow have finished college or done college anywhere else, I would have picked a different major or switched majors. Um, and honestly, if there was a good video program somewhere, I would have done that. But there's just not a good video program anywhere that I'm aware of. Like video, not film. But I would, if I could graduate from somewhere with a degree in that, I probably would. Or then maybe something like musical, because I would have liked, like I wasn't that good at music, but I would have liked to like learn a lot about it. Do you think that maybe one day I can give you a hickey on your neck? It doesn't have to be sexual. I just really want to. What the fuck? um, Jordan, I don't know if I can legally answer that because I think you are 17 years old and hickeys aren't cute. Don't judge me. I won't judge you, but I will have to. I will have to pass on answering that question. Why don't you drive? I don't drive because I went to a boarding school in the mountains when I was in high school. So the formative years where people usually learn to drive and get their license, I missed those. And then when I went to college, it just didn't make sense to get one because you have to something about insurance or something. And basically, I just didn't need one forever. And so I just kind of at a certain point was just opposed to uh, I watch my friends and stuff get cars, and it's expensive, and it seems like a hassle, and parking seems annoying, and you're always worrying about it. And it's easier to just ride with other people, so that's what I did all the time, and I get used to biking and other skateboarding and stuff, and most of the time I like that better because it's just like fresh air. It's like a little bit of exercise, and you're kind of more in tune with what you're doing. Um, and I just don't have the money for a car. I would way rather spend all that money on something else. You know what I mean? Like this project Like, instead of doing this project, I could be financing a vehicle, like a vehicle, an average vehicle, like a Honda or something. I don't know a ton about vehicles, but I'm not. I'm using that money for something else. Hey, Michael, thanks for the highlights. I still have a lot to go, but they're super helpful for those of us that joined you later. Thanks, Scott. Is Jordan while I judge you? Hi, guys, in Q&A. Yes. Hi, Michael. What's up, Priscilla? How's it going? Hey, robots. You look prettier than ever. Thank you. Where are you going after the live stream is over? I will probably still be in College Station, if I had to guess, because I think that the setup that across the street that Ethan and I are heading to is going to be really nice, and probably something that I'm not going to want to skip out on immediately. But truth be told, I don't really answer any questions firmly about my future after this year I can't, because so much is reliant on what happens in the next 6.5 months, or I guess 7 months. Will the live stream take off? Will it not? That decides everything. You have 15 minutes to live. What do you do? Wow. I probably call my parents first and tell them I love them and tell them thank you for everything. And then, maybe I sprint as fast as I can one more time. And then, then I'd write like something or take a video. That would be like my last words, and that would be like a document that would be interesting to people. And then maybe I'd kill myself a couple seconds before I was going to die, because that would be kind of ironic. Rub one off. Okay, Poppy Goat. Age doesn't matter. I'm not Lala. Michael, do you like being hugged and cuddle sleep? I actually prefer sleeping alone. But I think that's partially to do with, like, there's just, like, no one. Complicated question to answer, but I prefer sleeping just, like, by myself. Even after, like, hanging out with a girl or something, most of the time I'd prefer to just, like, go to a different bed and sleep, just because, like, the sleep part is important. And do you consider yourself a romantic person? I think deep down, but I would say I definitely save my romanticism for specific moments. Someone needs to get Beth. First observation: I can't believe those guys left you and Ethan without even calling, texting. Both of them just left. And Sam said, but I would have been left too. Honestly, what a jackass. Yep, that was a pretty brutal moment, Scott. That was like one of the hardest moments of the year. And I've said, I talk about that moment a lot in that relationship, and it felt good to post that video, because part of it felt like by addressing it, I was able to sort of move on from it, but it was pretty annoying. I prefer sleeping alone too. Do you like sports? From Poppy Goat. I like participating in sports, don't like watching them that much. Naomi sleeping alone is cool. I can't fall asleep. Yeah, I mean, I can sometimes, but it's like, you just know that the quality of that sleep is not as good. There's like someone else moving, and for a guy, if you're doing like the spooning, your arm is numb and stuff. And she said she would be in the live stream. Sleep, yes. What were you doing right before the Q&A? I was just kind of like trying to meditate for a little bit. I just felt like it would be good to clear my mind a little bit. I'm not like a big meditator or anything, but I think once in a while. Raptors are up by 10 halftime. All he does is drink and eat and lie. Who's that, me? When's the last time you jacked off? I will say sometime this week. Jordan was right. About my mom, or you have 2 kidneys and one friend needs one but drinks, and that is what damaged the kidney. The other friend does no wrong. Who gets it? Depends way more on the friend than the drinking. I think that, for example, if Ethan needed a kidney and then someone who I was less good friends with, I would give it to Ethan and assume that he would make a life change based on that situation. You know what I mean? Rather than making my decision based on the drinking. I couldn't believe he got defensive. Yeah, I know, dude. It's like that situation. Like, yeah, I felt like there was so much more. Like, the deeper in any of the situations that you go, like the deeper I explain anything that has to do with that bad time, like the worse it sounds. And like, this is not to continue to shit on Sam, but like the worse it sounds for him. Like, it's not. Yeah, just so like adding in the text and stuff, like it just makes it, in my opinion, like it was way worse. Just like holistically, there was no one angle to the situation. It felt like it was just bad on his part there. I missed your question, Priscilla, about meditation. Let's see. Maybe. Oh, do you like being hugged? Yeah, hugs are nice. It's actually, this year I've preferred being hugged a lot less because it's really awkward with the Livestream backpack because like it runs into people and stuff, and like, so that's really damaged the amount of appreciation I have for hugging. I don't need cuddling. Sam was jealous of you, Michael. Poppy doesn't even sleep. That's really incredible. Scott Smith tried to rope me into things too. Oh, true. Yeah. 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 Are you attending college or planning to? I'm not, nor am I planning to. What job did Ethan get? Ethan got a job at Paddock's, which is a bar here. He got a job as a doorman, and his plan is to work up to a barback and then eventually become a bartender. Yeah, that situation was. It wasn't the hug one. I asked if you jerk off a lot. I'd say probably an average amount. Which model would you bang at? I don't know who either of those people are, Chad. Are Ethan's eyes fake? A lot of people think Ethan's on drugs because of how wide his eyes always are. You pick Emily. All right, I'll pick Emily too, Chad. His eyes are really big and unique. Definitely unique. Second observation, you are super funny when drinking, but I do respect what you want to bring from it. Thanks. Appreciate that, Scott. I think that there are upsides and downsides, but the downsides of drinking were just too severe for me to handle at this point in my life, and I'm clearly not mature enough to deal with that. So I think a break is probably what I needed, and probably will be what I continue to need for at least a short future. Priscilla and Michael need some mystique. Use your imagination. Who's Sam? Would you and Ethan? That's funny. Would you and Ethan reconcile with Sam in the future? Although I understand that you possibly wouldn't. He actually messaged me recently and said, essentially, we've been friends for 10 years. You know, we should squash this. And I wrote back immediately and said, yep, always down to have a conversation, but I'm not one to forget what happened in the past quickly. And then he sent me back something about like times when we could talk. And actually, I really regretted sending that message immediately because I don't think that I'm ready to have that conversation and like move past this yet. I think it's still too fresh, and like I have too much going on in my life to want to even think about that anymore. He lost a lot of my respect during that situation, and so I don't feel an obligation to give him a lot of my attention to reconcile at this point. But I think sometime in the future, I definitely would. I think that I pretty much decided maybe now isn't the best time still. Naomi, who did Sam? Yes, Sam. Your dog is laying on the bed all comfortable and asleep, but using the whole bed. Do you cuddle? Are you being ridiculous, Toby? Dogs are completely different from girls. If the dog wants to share space in the bed, then, if the dog wants the whole bed, then I will sleep somewhere else. I would not move the dog. Unless it stinks really, really bad. Then I would be worried about my bedding stinking really bad. But otherwise, I would sleep with the dog, absolutely. Dogs are like the perfect animals. Do you think Ethan's job will strain your relationship? That's a good question. I actually thought the opposite originally. Because, Ethan and I would consider us to be like best friends, but too much time around anyone can strain any relationship. But generally we don't have problems. But I think that him having another activity that keeps him occupied, or like gives him another, initiative in his life is probably good for our relationship, because this is sort of like my main thing. And then, although he's been getting adjusted the past few days or whatever, I think that it'll be good for him to have a venture of his own, as well as like helping me with this on the side. We actually started texting before Michael and I did. Naomi, I already used my imagination. Who's Sam? Michael, I'm sorry to say I missed your drunk personality. I definitely hooked up with a lot more girls when I drank, so that makes sense. Jordan, who's Sam? Let's see. You know who Sam is if you watched January, especially when you cussed out the cashier. Honestly, I felt really bad about that incident, actually. That was like super rude, and I would not do that again. That was the first thing I watched where I was like, wow, that was pretty inconsiderate. That was kind of like an intro to the watching yourself can help you to not act like a douchebag horse. Well, Sam was in the stream all February. True, we were in Feb. What's up, Noah? Michael, who's Sam? Sam was one of my friends who Naomi's been talking about here, who I hung out with for half of January and all of February, basically. We had kind of a falling out over a couple different situations. But the main one was that, I guess there were just a couple main ones. There's a lot of stuff on the highlights channel about it. I would throw a treat. That is not a bad idea either, Toby. I'm not a huge dog fan. Fair enough. Michael, have you ever cried because of a broken heart? Yes, absolutely. Have you ever been so deep in love that it hurt? 100%. Michael, at least you have Ethan. That's better than Ethan. I'm assuming that meant to say what's better than Ethan. Oh, that's better than Sam. Yeah, no, yeah, Ethan's great. Big fan of Ethan. I'm not really an animal person, though. Fair enough, I like dogs. I did have an animal, be a bird or a snake or something exotic, not surprised. Sam owes you a huge apology. Still hard to understand, much less forgive. Guess time might heal, maybe. Yeah, that's another thing. I think that he's kind of the type of guy to turn a blind eye to his mistakes, and so that would make it like, everyone has the capacity to forgive to a certain point, but like you want the person who you're forgiving to like feel bad about their actions, at least, or like recognize that they did something wrong to you, or that they were like a dick, so that would probably be an important step. Maybe you didn't say anything about that in the message. Dogs rule. How are you? I'm good. What's up, Puppy? Good. The cashier incident was so cringe. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cringe. I was super drunk that night. I drank like a third of a fifth in like one gulp, which I guess is like 5 or 6 shots, and then we started drinking more beers, and that was just like all hit me at once pretty immediately. Why did Sam rob you, lol? I don't know if that's a question, as in why did Sam rob you? Because if that's a question, then yes, kind of. But to answer why did he, it's because he's really cheap. He's just like a very has a very cheap personality, which is not to speak on his financial situation in depth, but it doesn't make sense because he has access to a lot of money. Why did Sam? I don't understand the desire to like drunken stupidness that is rude or hurtful to others. Yep, I agree with that. But definitely have participated in my fair share of that throughout my life. It's just like your cares go out the window when you drink, and like it's a direct relationship. Cares go down, alcohol goes up. Consideration goes down, alcohol goes up. How did you meet Sam? Went to the same middle school. We kind of knew each other. We hung out once or twice back in middle school, but not a lot. Sam poisoned your trampoline. That's why you're mad at him. Ha ha. Pissed. Did he piss on the trampoline? I don't know if he did that. I love a good drunk that's mellow and funny, but not at the expense of others. You don't have to read this out loud, but how does it make you feel when people praise your previous behavior and not the improved version of yourself? I think it's all fair game. People will like what they like, and I think that there are like fun times that I've made highlights out of from drinking. There's plenty of fun moments. Drinking is fun. Alcohol is fun. Drugs in general, like the ones I've tried, there's a lot of like fun that surrounds them. But if you look at only one side of it, then you're not getting the whole picture. You know what I mean? So I think there's nothing wrong with saying like, oh man, like that was hilarious. You did that thing when you were drunk, but you in your mind should also think like that was less hilarious like the next day when I missed my doctor's appointment or was like mean to my mom on the phone because I was hungover. You know what I mean? So not a big deal. He never did really own it and apologize. Michael, you should get a pet hamster and name it Mike Ethan Christian. I think that Toby's dog, I think Harley, would eat that hamster like an appetizer, probably. You're awesome, man. Thanks, Noah. When you're drunk, you can't control yourself, so... I don't know. Are you talking about the trampoline thing, Chad, or just in general? Because I agree with you in general, but I don't know what this trampoline thing is. Michael, have you ever done something naughty and pretended it was nothing while being on cam? Like those big brothers that jerk off underneath the sheets. I don't think I have. I don't think I have ever on stream. I like the experience of the stream. I would hope so. Naomi, are there Easter eggs for us to find? There was one, but Naomi found it for me, and I eliminated it. Some drunk times were super fun. And then get a little hamster ball so you can see it roll around. That would be the only way it'd be safe from the dog. But then it would probably be like a toy, and it would just... But it's great to see how Michael's evolved and learned from his antics. Your dog, Harley. He was so cheap. That refusal to pay for a little... I will second that, but I appreciate the conversation regardless, Scott. I'm always happy to clear that up, even though it is, not the best thing to talk about in the world. I always am happy to answer anyone's questions about it at any point. And I feel way better about the situation now than I did a couple months ago, so it doesn't pain me to think about it and talk about it anymore. It's just the only thing that I think about is, I just don't want to dwell on the negatives too much, because I think I've learned pretty much all that I can from it. And he definitely would chew on it. Yeah, it's like Nicki Minaj and Roman. She got a lot of her fame from her Roman personality. Is that a two-sided? I don't know enough Nicki Minaj lore to know this, but now she doesn't want to use it anymore. Sam, if you read this one day, I hope you learn your mistakes and not repeat them. Do. Oh my God. She won't go back to it, and she won't go back to it, and she's falling off. Interesting. That must be tough for her. Yeah, the public likes one thing, and then you want to move on. As an artist, not that I'm like an artist to speak on this, but I can imagine that as an artist, that's like probably one of the hardest things that you have to deal with. People like one side of you, and one thing you do, and you evolve and you want to make something else, and people don't vibe with it as much. What's up, pimps? The Cowboys will win the Super Bowl. Bro, me and a group of friends had an encounter with a group of Bloods. I need Papa Michael to say it. Computer robots retracted. If you were offered a movie role but had to start before the stream ends, what do you do? Absolutely not. I don't even like acting. I don't like movies. I don't watch movies. I don't think they're that entertaining. It's just me. It's a really controversial opinion, different than everyone else. Probably, most people love movies, but this is 100 times more important to me than a movie role. I would not want to be a famous actor. I think that's a bad lifestyle. To be known by everyone for being characters that you're not, and it's like very few people know the real. That would be. Can't imagine. He got clowned for Fifi. I thought Fifi was an awesome song, ironically. What do you think of My Best Friend's Ass by Paris Hilton? Never heard of it. Yes, no Chargers will win. 2020. Michael, let's get political. Opinions about President Trump, and what about the wall? Don't know much about the wall or immigration or anything, or Trump. The only thing that I really am in touch with politically is that the tax break this year, or the tax plan adjustment, saved me a lot of money. So I appreciated that. I think that, I read things on Facebook. I don't know how much is true, how much is false, but a lot of people post like bad things that he's done. And I'm assuming that at least some of them are true, but I don't do enough research to know. I can say that if I was going to vote for a candidate in 2020, which I probably will, it will be Andrew Yang. Last observation, my humble opinion, you're way too hard on yourself about the cat thing. You seem like... I don't know. I think that's different from like me being rude to a shopkeeper, right? That's one thing. Or like even say I like kick down a mailbox or something. Like that's fucked up. I think that's a federal crime. But like it's like an innocent cat. You know what I mean? Like there's no. I don't know. I think it's a lot worse. And I would agree that I was caught up in that. And it was like a lot of reciprocated energy back and forth with Sam. But I think that I'm responsible for my actions regardless. And no questions about it. I shouldn't have done that. And that was a really bad thing to do. And I will not ever do that again. No, the Giants will win. Michael, did you like high school? I loved high school. I didn't like my public high school that much. I mean, it was all right, but I felt like it was pretty boring. And so I went to a different high school that was like really unique and weird and probably super different from like any other high school in the world. And I loved it and I thrived there. I actually made an album called High School Legends with my best friend from high school about how we were legendary in high school and now we're not at all because we enjoyed high school so much. It's her crackhead alter ego. Yeah, Toby, I think it'd be sick if they did a... I mean, I don't know Big Brother that well, but I think it would be sick if they did like this cam version. Like if they adapted exactly what I'm doing now into a reality TV show that was like just a channel, and it was like the Michael Gerry Livestream channel, and it was like you click to it on your TV and it was the same things, then like that would be cool. And they gave me a budget to do like some cool stuff. But I think that I don't know how Big Brother works enough to be able to answer that really. What do you want to be famous for? I think pushing boundaries in general. Politics suck. Damn, I'm way behind here. Oh shit. It's okay. Apologize. Michael passed 7th grade. Hell yeah. I'd like to hear that, Chris. Congrats on passing 7th grade with high grades. Did 6-9 ball. Wow, this is the first time that I've ever really been overwhelmed by chat. But that's probably mostly because it's Chris and Poppy saying, "Shug, stop." 4 guys and a dog. Everyone wears a camera, even Harley. Yeah, that'd probably be cool. I'd be down. Michael, what would you do if you're in love with someone? You later find out that he or she is racist or neo-Nazi. I think that's pretty unlikely, because to be like in love with someone, you have to really like deeply know their personality and be like in love with that personality, and there would be like glaring aspects of that that would show you that they are like the kind of like repulsive things that I personally wouldn't be interested in, that I'm assuming I would see that up front. You know what I mean? Was it Clayton? You made book. Yeah. It was Clayton that we made that about, or that we made, that I made that with. You complain about everything. Jesus, me? Oh, okay. No, not you, Michael. Hey, y'all. Cardi sends rough draft to producer, gets a writer. Fear factor. How do you know? Is that date? Yes, there is. She's coming out on June 26th. Sorry, I'm going to run and get some more water really quick. I'm just super thirsty. So save all your good questions for one moment. Feel free to write as many song lyrics or artist debates in the meantime. I'll be back in a sec. Icy Narco. Sorry about the chat, Michael. You guys are good. Tisk. Indeed. Should have brought more. Naomi, did you know Sam? Naomi knew Sam through the stream and started Snapchatting him like late January. Thoughts on Vaporwave? I've never listened to it. I did through the stream. I'm gonna take a shower now. Michael, see you later. I'm trying to sleep with no sheets tonight. We appreciate your night. Try sleeping with no sheets tonight. We'll have to see how cold it is in my room. Set to the right. Macintosh Plus. No, is that an artist I should listen to, Chris? Sleep stream viewership. Yes. Yeah. All right. I'll pull that aside, and I'll check that out, Chris. Yes, sleep stream viewership in general, I think, has gone down, or at least I haven't noticed it being like high. Um, or maybe that my normal viewership has like caught up to where the sleep stream viewership used to be. I don't know what happened, but I think that I believe it's lower in general now. Um, but I don't know every explanation for that. I've heard from a lot of people that this angle is worse. Uh, I'm actually probably going to change it tonight, and then I'll have like a better angle when I move into the new place, because like I think that generally that audience has pretty specific things they want, and as long as it doesn't inconvenience me, I'm obviously happy to accommodate. Fear factor, if Michael and Steven get that reference. I think it's time for a new sleep stream camera angle. It's gotten too standardized, definitely. You know, Diana Ross, it's one of her songs, Just Distressed and Slowed Down. Okay. I don't know Diana Ross either, but I will listen to it. Try convincing him to sleep sheetless. Also, give me a mod. Can you make a questionnaire asking that question? That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I'll write that down too. Tell that schmuck Bukursky to give me a mod. Taylor S. What's Ethan up to? Ethan is playing League of Legends right now. As long as he has no slips. I think you had better closer angles in earlier sleep streams. Yep, I think that's true. So we'll try and replicate that a little more. Upside Down is my fave Diana Ross song. All right, we'll add that too. How would you handle a romantic relationship on the stream, not sexual? I think I would be myself. I don't think that it would be like romantic. I don't know. I think that like not a lot would change in like the way I act. I think that I would have to find someone like the thing about like romanticism and stuff is like it would have to be someone like ridiculously unique and like perfect for me to like I don't know, it's hard to explain. I think a romantic relationship would be really tough during this project. Yeah, it probably would be, but I think the good news is like I would probably have like a really difficult time finding one of those in the first place. Try to get Instagram down, Rose. Group relationship. Can you bring Ethan in here? I think he's in the middle of a game, so he doesn't like being interrupted in those. Michael doesn't seem the mushy sort of guy, because if they're dating Michael, they're dating all of us. Taylor S. Ethan is straight. Like little PDA, even if in love. If you could be any animal, which would you be? Wolf. I passed my test. Congratulations, Chad. Damn, that's a good question. If you could choose one word for each month since the stream started, what would it be? That's a great question. January. New beginnings. February. Debauchery. March. Repairs. April. Improvement. May. Excitement. June. action. June hasn't happened yet. Was that all the months? March. I passed my math with 95. Nice, Chris. PE, TB. I have a feeling you'll do well in PE, Chris. What caused the breakdown leading to the filming of the manifesto? So I actually do videos like that. Before I started this project, I would do those once in a while where I would just record myself like talking about what's going on in my life. It was just like sort of a diary almost, but just like a very visceral diary that, someday I can go back. I've already gone back to a couple of them and watched them to see where my mind space is really at and like what my life is like and how I act and who I am at the time. And that was just like a difficult time because there's like a longer story to it, but basically at that point in my life, I had like no reason to do anything. And like, because of that, no motivation. And like, I still liked video and stuff. And there were projects that I liked doing, but in general, like there was no direction for my life. And that it just made me feel like, I don't know. I felt like kind of like a rock star in the sense that like I was like drinking all the time and doing whatever I wanted, and I had enough money to like sustain that lifestyle for like say a year and a half. And so that was just how I felt and how I was acting. And as a result of that and like what caused that lifestyle, I had no direction, and I felt like sad a lot of the time because of that, and I was so on a different wavelength than anyone else that I knew. You know what I mean? Like the way that I thought and what I thought about the world and my direction and my actions and what I liked and what I didn't like, just completely different from anyone I ever met. And so it was like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, and so that was me just trying to like, the first, that's like a layered video, right? So the first layer was like very me just like in almost a place of desperation, definitely. And then it's me like starting to build on that and finding momentum with it towards this project. Now one word for the whole year so far: transformative. What caused the breakdown? Yeah, okay. Do I know the YouTuber? I'm assuming that is supposed to say YouTuber. Yeah. From back in the day, he was one of the originals. Could make an edit of there already is one. It's called Alcohol. It's on the highlights channel, which is in this description. Feel free to look for it. It's pretty disgusting. YouTuber. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's good stuff, Chris. By the way, you were mean, but Ethan was kind of incompetent on that simple errand. I will accept that. I was pissed. I wasn't pissed, but I was like, dude, like, I told you to get 2 of these. Why'd you come back with a handful of like washers? That's so useless. And it's a little bit annoying because Toby lent us both the bike, but I know that if something goes wrong with it, say we were riding it and the motor like ripped in half because there's not a bolt, I'm going to be the one who has to pay for it. You know what I mean? I'm going to be the one who takes the blame for it and who has to deal with it. So it's like, I want the thing to work if we're going to use it. Ethan doesn't have another bike, so he has to use that one. It just, the blame falls on me. So that was kind of why I was irritated about that. It's like, I've done work on that bike already. Like, just go get 2 screws and come back, put those in, and then like the thing will be done. And he clearly like rushed it, didn't pay attention to what I said, and didn't get the things. But I think it's probably fair to say that I was a little mean. If you could have one gay uncle or lesbian aunt, which would you choose? Well, Toby, having you as a gay uncle is a great experience, and I've never had a lesbian aunt, unless you count Naomi's occasional tendencies. So, so I would go with gay uncle. Chad, would you get back together with your ex? Doing Your Mom by Fatty Spins. I do not. What did Evan do? Lesbian aunt. Name one viewer you would like to put out of pure enjoyment. Name one viewer you like to put in timeout. I will say that when Papi Chulo Chad makes his joke about Nicolas Gurr, I think that it has been made too many times. Not that I have anything against Chad. I like Chad, but I think that joke should rest in peace permanently. Although it worked really well on Michael Bukursky that one time. No, I'd smash and dip. But no one that I would want. If I, not anyone that I really want to put in timeout. Maybe like random people that come in once in a while. But, it hasn't happened in a long time. Something Spanish. No. Muito que. I don't know what that. I don't even know if that's Spanish or Portuguese, but I don't know what that says. All the moms and girls with short hair are gay lesbian schmucks. That is great. Like, dude, what the fuck? And Ethan just keep. Fear factor. You saw the application video. What'd you think of that computer? I think that was a big factor in us getting picked. Portuguese, cool. Toby, you've been coming with some really good questions this time. A lot of you other guys have had good questions too. Michael. What's up, Jordan? Listen to the song Doing Your Mom. Alright, I will reluctantly listen to that as well. I'm not trying to be rude, but I like it. You two were trying new things. Chat theme song. Trimming the armor is a huge funny video and you laughing. Yeah, it's like for anyone who's played RuneScape, that's like the most classic RuneScape prank of all time. If I weren't half asleep, I'd ask more complex questions. Michael, do you like hip hop? Yeah, big fan. It's probably my favorite genre of music. I used to be like really into keeping up with the new artists and stuff, like last year around July, but I've kind of like lost track recently. But I like a lot of the new guys too. I think that hip hop is evolving and there's awesome artists all over the genre now. Can me and my client Poppy go get a mod tomorrow? Chris, there's a time when my mom was going to give you a mod if you were in the stream, but you were gone, and it was Mother's Day, and she brought it up 30 minutes before midnight, and so you could have been mod for 30 minutes, but you missed out on the opportunity. What you should have done was vlogged for a whole year and built up a channel, gotten a good subscriber ratio. Then, that's not a bad idea. That could have been cool too, but I didn't feel like I had time to waste. Here's the thing. With projects like this, maybe I'm not going to be the best live streamer in the world. It's a hard thing to do, and like there are people who are better at electronics, better at streaming, who have better personalities, more entertaining lives, more money, who are willing to sacrifice you know, their health and well-being a lot more than I am for this type of project, for a live stream. But in anything, if you are the first, it's a big deal. And so I did it this year. To be honest, a lot of it had to do with the fact that 2019 rhymed with live stream. I thought that was sick, and I thought I was going to do some wordplay with that. But no one had done it yet, and I was not going to miss the opportunity to be the first one. So I just dropped everything and did it this year from the start. I've tried vlogging before, actually, too, with Ethan, but it was a long time ago. When we move to the other house, we get the keys tomorrow, so we'll start cleaning. Old school RuneScape for sure, Chris. Yeah, I vouch for Chris and Goat. Do you like the baby Shug? I sure do. Yeah, I think that whole album was actually really good. I feel like that album was like such a good realization of all the of like the vibe of new age hip hop. Like that was so, oh, Chris just damn, I didn't see what just got deleted, but yeah, what's up?
Do you have the money I gave you the other night?
The money?
Yeah, in the backpack. The skate park.
Yeah, it should be in the backpack probably.
You need a Lifestream backpack?
Oh yeah, how much do you need?
20.
Okay, here. Just take this.
Can I have it all up?
Yeah. Just grab it out of there.
Which part?
It's in that little pocket. Alright, well, I'll wrap this up anyways now. If you guys have any final questions.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I'll get that 20 back then.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Chris was... Okay, so a couple of good questions I missed here. It's all about the concept and consistency, definitely, Naomi, and I think that I can bring the concept and I can bring the consistency, and even if I lack in other spheres, I've got that going. What makes you really happy? What really makes you happy? I think like being successful. Like if I feel like I'm doing well in life, then I'm really happy. And if I feel like I'm not, then I'm generally sad. Jordan, sorry for... Dude, Chris. Chris, Toby's not messing around, just so you know. But I also don't know. Oh, is this the doing your mom thing? We human beings are never satisfied. This this feels like a conclusive moment here. Maybe one more good question. Give you a slap in the face. Chris, you don't really have the power to do that. You're just a plebeian in the chat. Toby's like a king, a god, maybe. Oh. Read mine. Where was it, Shelby? Let's see. Oh, how does it feel to have your parents watching it? That's a great final question. Paul, yes, that's a good point, Scott. I'm looking forward to having hair again. How do I feel about? I really enjoy having my mom watching because I feel like my mom has the potential to like understand me a lot better via the stream, and I think that's already happened in a lot of ways, and so that's nice. And like I can have more open conversations with her and stuff. If like I assume that she understands certain things about me and my life and what I do and the motivation behind things, and then that's like a mother's dream come true is like you can always check in and see what your kid's doing if you take out all like the having to see bad things, but she can check in on me anytime she wants without having to worry about like the fact that I'm not texting her back or something. So that's nice for both of us. I personally, once I reached age like 20 and I started like living in a van and like paying my own bills and shit, then like I didn't really care that much. Like I really saw independence at that age, and at that point I was like, all right, and I was like, I don't really care what my parents think about what I do at this point. I'd like them to be proud of me, but like if they're not, that's their loss, their problem, not mine. And so I was never worried about what I did and my parents knowing what I did really, and how that, they're not going to like punish me for anything. I'm not going to get you famous regardless. My dad, and to just touch on the dad part too, my dad basically never watches this, and so he sort of has not had any of like the benefits that my mom has had from it. I feel like it's just as much of an enigma to him, and like my relationship to him still feels like a little bit enigmatic at times, and I think that might remain that way unless we like have a lot of conversations in the future. I don't know. He's pretty like set in his ways, which is not a big deal. It's like when you get to be 50 and like you're doing a job, then it's good to have a basic set of values and way that you see the world in order to operate in that sphere that you live in. And just a lot of things that I do, I guess, kind of don't line up with it, so it's easy for him to ignore them. Okay, we'll just run through here real quick, but that was a great last question, Shelby. Let's see, writing off Chris Senior's usernames. Chris Spectrum Van, jeez. Hashtag favorite child, no. I am hashtag probably not the favorite child. I think that I don't know. I mean, I think my mom and I are pretty close, but I've caused a lot more turmoil for my dad in terms of like, he's like, finish college, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I don't know, he's probably a bigger fan of Steven, if I had to guess. Stop saying like, Dad. All right, I will take that advice. It's only advice I get from my dad is stop saying like, take on me, why are messages getting deleted, because there's there's so much action going on. Holy shit. Both childs, no turmoil. You are silly son. I'm not a bigger fan of Steven. Alright, well, that's perfect timing. A lot of crazy stuff going on here. You underestimate my interest in you. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for asking questions. This stream used to be Guys, I don't control the chat. The chat, I'll leave on this address. That was the last question, but I'll be pissed to see my text. Yeah, the chat, by the way, just quick message. The chat is a place for the people who use the stream the most. It's supposed to be a pleasant place. And so I give the people who are on most frequently and who have like, the most genuine interest and contributions to it and to my life, the privilege and responsibility of moderatorship. And basically what I say and what I hold to is that you should make it a place that you want to be. So the moderators moderate to make it a place that they want to be, and I'm happy with that. And generally it lines up with what I want to. And so if you guys spam and annoy them, then watch out, because they have free reign to remove you. I seriously can't take a joke too. All right. Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you in the next stream.